Hello, good morning, and welcome to the next video tutorial in my series on the Fantom ecosystem. Specifically in this video, what I'm going to be covering and addressing is one of the most common questions that I've been receiving over the last few days. And that is, I think it's great that you've shown us how to get a liquidity pair and get into the farms on the Liquid Driver site, but how do I withdraw and get my Fantom tokens back once I decide that I'm no longer going to farm any longer? And so what I'm going to do is we're going to go from cradle to grave, step by step. I'm going to make it as brief as I can, and I'm going to show you how you would take Fantom FTM that is in your MetaMask wallet, how you would zap it, how you would then go ahead and stake the liquidity pair that gets created, the LP token that gets created, into a farm, and then we're going to reverse that process. We're going to withdraw from that farm, or that pool, if you will, and then we're going to go to the SpiritSwap site, and we're going to talk about what's really happening when you click the Zap button. Where do you go to see the assets that you've reclaimed and withdrawn from the pool, and how would you remove or split the liquidity pair? And then we're going to swap it all back to FTM. All right, so let's dive in. But before we do, as always, remember, all information provided in this video tutorial is provided on an as-is and as-available basis, and you agree that your use of any such information is entirely at your own risk. You should not construe any such information or other material in my video tutorial as legal, tax, investment, financial, or other advice. Nothing in this video or on my YouTube channel constitutes a solicitation, recommendation, endorsement, or offer by myself or any other third party. I am not liable for the loss of any fiat assets or tokens or fees incurred as a result of you following the steps presented here, and that this is not investment advice. I am not an investment advisor. The opinions expressed in this video tutorial are for general information and entertainment purposes only and are not intended to provide specific financial and/or tax advice or recommendations for any individual or any specific cryptocurrency token or investment product. All right, now that we've got that out of the way, here we are at the Liquid Driver main page. And in previous videos, I've shown you how to click on the farm link and how you would participate in farming. Now, pay special attention here to the top where it shows you that the farm listed here, or these farms listed below, are SpiritSwap. If I was to scroll down a little bit further, you can see that we've got some here, Spooky Island, or if you were to come, that's the Boo token. There's Magic Land, and here are the Beethoven pools, right? So we've got some different options to choose from. I initially showed you how to do the LQDR FTM pool. So what I'm going to do for this video, and for the purposes of this video, is we're going to go ahead and we're going to do Fantom and FUSDT. So we're just going to jump into this pool here because, again, this is for educational entertainment purposes. I'm not doing this long term. And remember, there are going to be several fees, albeit, 10, 9, 14 cents that we're going to be incurring doing this. This is not something that you would do because you're probably going to lose more money paying fees than you would, sticking it into the pool and then immediately pulling it right back out. So let's go ahead and talk about what's going to happen here. The first thing we want to look at is we want to look at our balance of FTM so that we can see where this FTM is going to come back after we split the liquidity pair. So I've got 17.82 FTM to work with here. Let's take a look. Does this actually show the FUSDT? I believe it's going to. And so I have 2.969 FUSDT. And the reason I'm pointing these totals out right now is so what's going to happen is when we remove these and break the pair, those assets are going to float back and be visible here in my wallet. Now, I've already alluded to the fact that we're talking about SpiritSwap specifically. So, and this is what seems to be causing a lot of confusion. You withdraw the liquidity pair from the pool here on Liquid Driver, but then you don't, because you still have LP tokens. And that's really the question is like, where are those LP tokens? What happened to that? Well, that's the tricky part here. Is to see that, you'd have to come over to SpiritSwap. Remember, this is kind of linking back to what I was just talking about, the fact that these are listed as SpiritSwap farms, right? Or a SpiritSwap farm and the different pools that you can get into. And so if you click on, and I'm on the main homepage here for SpiritSwap. If I click on it, you can see this is where we're at. If you click on portfolio, this is going to show you the exact same totals we just saw in my MetaMask wallet. Here's my FTM, here's my USDC, here's my liquid driver, and there's the FUSDT, $2.96, or I'm sorry, 2.96, which is, it's almost 1-to-1 for the dollar. And this is frapped, and that's like Frappuccino. It's frapped USDT. And this is the coin being used for bridging and multi-chain, stablecoin being used for that. So, but again, the point is that when you come to SpiritSwap, if your wallet is connected, it's going to see what you have in your wallet with respect to these assets I've got listed here. Again, I'm showing you the totals because these are going to change once we start going through this process. Now, the next thing I want to show you is from the home page. Once you withdraw from the pool on the liquid driver site, once I do my withdraw and I take my liquidity provider tokens back, you don't see them here, right? They're no longer here. You would have to come over to SpiritSwap, click on liquidity, and it's here. And this takes you to the exchange link here, and then the liquidity option. It's sort of like, a shortcut. You're going to see the liquidity provider tokens down here. And again, this is kind of what's causing some confusion, is when you zap it, it doesn't make you come here and create them and so that you would see them here. It does it all behind the scenes. And that's actually what the zap feature, that button, is doing. It's coming here to SpiritSwap. It's swapping your FTM for an equal amount dollar-wise of whatever it is you're pairing it with. Then it's coming here and doing the liquidity, creating that liquidity pair, the LP token for you, and making it available all right here on this page. That's what's happening. So let's do that. Again, assuming you have FTM in your wallet, I'm going to click on, actually, let me take a step back here. Assuming that you've clicked approve on whichever pool it is you would like to use, and then yes, there will be a fee for that. And that process is very, very quick. So if I was to come down here and actually, let's just pick the next available pool here that I haven't approved. So this one here, if I wanted to participate in wrapped BTC and FTM, I would click on approve. It's going to ask me, do you want to approve this? And again, you can see 4 cents, right? So 4 cents for me to play with this pool and to be able to put my LP tokens of wrapped Bitcoin and Fantom into this pool. So give it a few seconds here. We've approved it, and it should automatically update, and there it is, right? So it just happened. So now I see zap and stake and withdraw and harvest. Again, harvest is if you're taking your rewards out. You can see up here, I have some rewards I've earned. If I wanted to take those, I would click on harvest. That does not withdraw your LP tokens. It's simply just kind of collecting up the passive income that you have earned. So let's come back to FTM and frapped USDT, or FUSDT. I've already clicked the approve, so now I'm going to click zap. So you can see it sees my total, and my total is dropped because, again, I'm paying fees in FTM. So what am I going to do here with the 17.81 Fantom? Let's take, we'll take 7, because it'll be a very noticeable difference in the total, so it doesn't look confusing when we reverse this process out. And remember, the FUSDT that I already have, I had 2.9 something. Now, Zapping is not taking the FUSDT I currently have. That's just sitting in my MetaMask wallet. It's going to take the 7 FTM. It's going to swap the FTM for an equal amount of FUSDT. It's doing all of that at SpiritSwap. Then it's going to create the liquidity pair, and then that liquidity pair is going to show up over on SpiritSwap. So let's zap it. Again, that's what I like about the pools here in the zap feature, is it removes those steps for you. So take a look. Of the 7 FTM that we're going to use, half of it is going to get swapped. Half of it's going to get swapped to FUSDT. So let's confirm the zap, and then it's going to be put together as an LP pair, which is why when we look at the fee, you might look at this and say, well, wait a second, that's 10 cents. It was 4 cents to get into the pool. Remember, multiple things are being done behind the scene here. It's going to swap half the FTM for FUSDC, then it's going to create the LP liquidity provider token for me. All of those things I showed you over on SpiritSwap, and we're going to be transitioning back to SpiritSwap in a second. Now, this is what I've noticed here. Now, be careful. I fell into this trap in another video where the very first time you interact with a pool or a LP token pair, you might have to confirm it, and then it would allow, you'll have to approve the transaction, then you come back in and you zap it again in order to, it's approving your interaction with the contract as opposed to confirming the zapping of the token. So then you would come back in and just do the same thing again. In fact, if I go to my MetaMask wallet, I'll show you, you can see these contract interactions, right? This is approving this, I was doing some Spirit liquidity provider stuff or removing liquidity. And this is where I was kind of like walking through the process in preparation for this video. And that's different than a contract interaction. So make sure that if you don't see anything happen right away, you can see what you just look at the total, right? That's why I use 7. So it has happened, right? It has happened. But note that you might have to do this step twice. First to say, yeah, I want to interact with this contract, and then to go ahead and do the zap. So you don't have to click confirm zap here again. At least I don't. What I do is I just click anywhere outside that window to see what's going on. Now, we can notice right away my FTM total dropped by 7, right? Clearly. So this is what's causing some confusion. Okay, so I zap it, and let me make sure I'm in the right pool. So let me scroll up here so we don't go into the wrong pool. So I apologize, I went right by the right pool. So we're in this pool here. So I zapped it. If I click on stake, you can see, oh, okay, that's how many LP tokens I've got, right? You can see it's like a fraction of the overall pool. So I could stake right away. But what I want to show you before we do this is where can you see these LP tokens? Because people are clicking on their wallet, the MetaMask wallet, and they're looking at the assets. And they're like, okay, I see the FTM got removed. What about the FUSDC? Or I'm sorry, FUSDT, I apologize, FUSDT. Well, take a look. Like I told you, it's not taking it. When you zap it and you say 7 FTM, it's not going to leverage the existing FUSDT, if any, inside your MetaMask wallet. It's going to swap it on this. It's going to swap on SpiritSwap. It's then going to create that LP pair. And as we continue to go down here, do you see an FTM FUSDC liquidity pair? You don't see it, right? So that's the question that people are asking is, okay, well, I did this. Where did it go? For that, again, just come over to SpiritSwap, right? And that's why I always keep a SpiritSwap tab open. Again, if you were on the home page for SpiritSwap, there's 2 ways to get here. You could click on Exchange and then Liquidity, or you could just simply click on the little shortcut here for Liquidity, which takes you to Exchange Liquidity. Now, you can see it says loading. Give it a second or two. There's the liquidity provider pair. Now, want to see some information about this? Here it is, right? You can see we pooled 10 because I took 7 FTM, so it split it up evenly. So it's right around 7 FTMs, right around $10. Because FUSDT is pegged to the dollar, and we had some fees that we had paid. And here are the pool tokens I've got. And you can see, again, this is for demonstration, entertainment purposes. So I don't have much of a pool share here, but that's not the point. The point is that we can see here, these are my LP tokens. Now, again, if I had other liquidity pair provider tokens, I would see them listed here. So in other words, if I had FTM and that is not in a pool, and again, I apologize, let me take a step back here. So the LP tokens you're seeing here are the LP tokens that you do not have dedicated to a pool right now. And so we'll come back and take a look. because you're probably wondering, well, why don't we see your LQDR FTM here, right? So this is my liquidity right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to add this into the pool, right? I'm going to stake it in this FTM FUSDT pool. So let's click on stake. Let's click on the max. And you can see that these numbers right here match up with the numbers that we saw over on SpiritSwap. I'm going to click confirm. And you can see we're going to get charged 0.09 cents, it looks like, or 0.09 FTM. Sorry, I said cents. I think I was saying cents. I'm saying 0.09 FTM. Let's click confirm. And this window does go away. So we're going to give this a second. And you can actually always click on your MetaMask wallet. And there you go. And the window went away. And you can see we were making a deposit. And that was how much FTM we had to spend. And you can see it deducted from the overall FTM in my wallet, which was 10.7. So now here we are with the FTM FUSDT pool. I've staked my tokens. If I click on stake again, you'll notice there's nothing for me available. There's nothing available to stake because we've already staked it. Now, you'll notice that the meter here is not going to move because there's just simply, at least I wouldn't think it's going to, there's just simply not enough. We didn't put enough LP tokens in here to have this move. But this is where, like I'd shown you up here, if you have any earnings, that's where it's going to show up, right? So that's what you can harvest if you're interested in harvesting your earnings. And beware, you don't want to harvest your earnings every day, especially if it's not a lot, I should say, because you're paying FTM fees to harvest things out. So if this was like 30 cents, to harvest it would probably cost me more to harvest it than I'm going to get out of the harvest. So I typically wait like a week or longer, depending on how much is here. All right, so click on show details, and there we go. So the 7 FTM that we have swapped half of to get FUSDT to then create an LP token, the liquidity provider token, to then stake in this pool is now in here. So this is the question, and this is what's, again, causing some confusion is, okay, well, great. Let's say, 2 months go by, I harvest my earnings, and I'm done. I want my FTM back. How do I get it back? So we would click on withdraw, and you can see that's the exact amount that we had staked. So I'm going to click on max. We're pulling everything out. I'm going to click on confirm. We are again going to pay a fee in FTM. Here it's going to be 0.07. I'm going to click confirm. And again, I apologize for saying cents. I was meaning to say FTM. And this is a window that will go away. Again, maybe that first window that I was referencing earlier, maybe I'm just not waiting long enough, but I'm finding that I have to click out of the frame of that window. There you go. So that has gone away. Now I've withdrawn it. So this is going to update. And again, this takes a few seconds to update to show that, yeah, you no longer have LP tokens staked in this pool. And so we won't wait here. We'll come back to that. So now the question is, okay, you've withdrawn it. So I should see the new FTM, that 7 FTM. Well, notice you don't here, right? And you can see it updated right over here. It pulls it out, and you have nothing here listed as LP tokens that are in there. So again, there's intermediate steps we need to do here because that 7 FTM, it's not back in my wallet. If I look at my assets, you can see it's the same FTM that's showing above. And if I come down to the FUSDT, you can see it's 2.96. This hasn't changed. None of this has changed. So again, you would come back to SpiritSwap. And this is not a big deal. I don't want to make it sound like, oh my God, you have to do all these intermediate steps. But here we are back at the SpiritSwap site because I've withdrawn that liquidity provider pair. So again, if you're on home, you would click on liquidity. And once I click on liquidity, it's going to bring me over here. And you're going to give it a second right here. Initially, it always flashes no liquidity found, but then it shows, okay, well, here's your FUSDT FTM. So let's click on the down arrow, and you can see the amount matches up with exactly what we saw over there. And here are the amounts that make up this LP pair. So what do I want to do? Well, I want to remove the liquidity provider tokens. I no longer want them to be a pair. So think of it like you're splitting the pair now. And again, before I do this, let's look at our portfolio, because this is how I'm kind of validating with you that, hey, yes, this is doing what I'm telling you it's doing. So here on the portfolio, the FTM is 10.6. My FUSDT, and I apologize if I'm saying FUSDC sometimes, but FUSDT is 2.96. Again, those are both the totals that you see in my wallet. The reason that we don't see the additional amounts of FTM and FUSDT reflected here that's tied up as a liquidity pair is because it's tied up as a liquidity pair. So let's come back over here. Here's the liquidity. And give it a second. And it usually flashes, yeah, you don't have anything, but then it'll load. Excuse me. All right, this is taking a few seconds longer than it normally does, but it always comes back up. No liquidity found, and then here we go, right? So we're going to come in here. We're going to click on Remove. We want to take this out of the pool. Now, you can see here it says Receive Wrapped FTM. If I click on that, I can say Receive FTM for the transaction that's going to happen, right? So know that there's an option here. And so I'm going to take FTM. So I'm going to say I want the max, right? 100%. So, and there are these same totals, right? Here's the liquidity pair values that we've been working with so far. I clicked on Receive FTM. Now, the first time you do this, excuse me, I believe you have to approve it, right? You're basically approving your interaction with this contract. You're going to sign it. And there was no fee there. You'll notice there was no fee to approve. At least I didn't see a fee there. Maybe I missed it. But now I'm going to click on Remove. I'm receiving FTM. And let's click on Remove. Oh, I'm sorry. It looks like the wrap. Let me kill that real quick here. I think maybe I've got it backwards. I want to click on Receive FTM. I want to approve that. And this is kind of tricky here because I want to make sure that I'm getting FTM for this, and we should see that over here. And so now let's go ahead and confirm. So the output is estimated, the price changes, your transaction is going to revert, but it's probably not going to in this time frame. So let's click on confirm. Now there is, and you can see here, removing this, confirm this transaction in your wallet. So we're going to be paying 0.06 FTM. Transaction submitted, and it's actually pretty quick, and you should see that the transaction's been successful or is successful, and you could always click on FTM scan. It'll give you an option down here to click on FTM scan to go look at the transaction if you wanted to, and you can see right here, view on FTM scan if that's what you're interested in doing. Okay, so we've now split the pair. So let's go ahead and go back to, let's go click on portfolio to see, okay, well, where is it? So there's the 10 FTM, and let's come down and take a look at the FUSDT. So those totals are the same. So the question is, well, where did that go? What's the token that it got swapped out to? And I think this is where, if I go to the exchange, and I was to go, I'm on the swap site here. If I was to click on WFTM, oh, not WFTM, I apologize. Let's click back on the MetaMask wallet here. I apologize. If you click back on your MetaMask wallet, you can see it put the FTM back in here. The portfolio here, I guess the point I was trying to make is the portfolio here. If you click on portfolio, we didn't see it here immediately. And again, because I didn't wait long enough, right? But now there's the 14 FTM. And remember, it's not going to be 17 because it's split it. Because now half of that is FUSDT. All right? So I've got FUSDT and my FTM. It shows up here. Now let's look. What happened when I split that liquidity provider pair? It dropped those assets back into my MetaMask wallet, which are, after a brief little delay, are displayed in the SpiritSwap portfolio. So here it is. There's my FTM. Let's come down here and take a look at the FUSDT, and there it is. Because these values that you're seeing here in this portfolio under the SpiritSwap section, they're pulling those values from the connected wallet, your MetaMask wallet. That's where these values are coming from. So now it should kind of be a given as to how you would then get your FTM back. You got half of it back here. So what you could do is you could swap the FUSDT to FTM. So let's go ahead and take this video to its completion. Let's come to the exchange. And I apologize for that wrapped FTM kind of back and forth there. And you saw what needed to be done so that it would pay you out in the FTM, and it gives you everything back. All right, so we take a look here. We're not going to swap FTM. I want to swap all this FUSDT, right? Because, I mean, what we're thinking here hypothetically is you want to get that FTM back. Maybe you want to go turn it into LQDR and then stake it as XLQDR. So I take the 12.99. We're going to take all of it. I'm going to swap to FTM. You can see that's my current balance of FTM. And let's go ahead and swap out here. And I think I did 100%. Yeah, let's go ahead and swap out. And we are going to, oops, sorry. Price updated pretty quickly there. I'm going to confirm the swap before the price changes again. So we're locked in and we're going to pay 0.03 FTM. I'm going to click on confirm. Transaction submitted. We're awaiting the confirmation. There it is. I can view it on FTM scan if I would like. We're not really interested in that. Let's come back to the portfolio and let's see how quickly or if it has updated yet. We had 14 FTM at last look. And yeah, it actually updated pretty quickly. How much FUSDT do you see here? None, because I swapped it all out. Let's click on the MetaMask wallet and see, hey, is everything updated here? It is. So we took the 12 FUSDT, which is pegged at like $1. And when we convert it to FTM, FTM's about, well, it's 287. Actually, its price is right there. It's 287. So that's why you don't see a 1-for-1, right? When we swap the FUSDT to FTM. So I now have 18.59 FTM. Let's scroll down and take a look at the FUSDT balance, which should be 0. Because we've swapped it all out for FTM. All right, well, that is going to, let's recap what we've done here, right? We've gone from cradle to grave. We had FTM in our MetaMask wallet. We decided we wanted to leverage that FTM by staking it in the FTM FUSDT pool here on the Liquid Driver site. Now remember, the header is SpiritSwap. So we're going to be going back and forth to SpiritSwap to take a look at some of the things for confirmation. We approved the pool, which I had already approved. We then zapped our FTM. We took 7 FTM, we zapped it, and we created our liquidity provider tokens, which are tokens that are an equal amount of the 2 tokens that are being used to create that LP pair. So FTM and FUSDT. We then staked it. Now, again, to be clear, you wouldn't do this. You wouldn't stake it and then 30 seconds later unstake it because you're paying fees to do that. So let's say after 6 months you decide, you know what, I'm not seeing the returns I like in this pool. You can then withdraw it. Now, if you have earnings that show up here, you can harvest those earnings. However, we're done with that. We harvest the earnings. I want to get it all out. I want to convert everything back to FTM, the FUSDT that is. So I'm going to withdraw it. I withdraw it. I see my liquidity provider tokens and my LP pairs over here on the exchange, on SpiritSwap, the exchange link, and click on liquidity. Any LP value that you have here would show up here. We should see nothing here now because we came back in and removed those tokens after we withdrew them from the pool. No liquidity found, and it's going to stay no liquidity found because the LP pair we had here, you clicked on the arrow, you clicked on, I think you had to click accept first, and then you click on remove. And then you click back and forth. Do you want to get paid out in WFTM or FTM? And we wanted it, excuse me, I clicked on FTM. That's what we wanted to receive was the FTM. You approve that. Those values then show back up in your MetaMask wallet, as well as after a brief pause here in your portfolio, because again, this information is being pulled from the connected wallet, which is my MetaMask wallet. And then the final step was to go ahead and swap that FUSDT back to FTM. And then you could send the FTM to Binance and cash out if you wanted to. Or you could take the FTM and leverage it for some other pool. Or flip it to LQDR and then make it XLQDR to increase your stake there. All right. Well, I hope that this has clarified any confusion that was out there as to how to reverse the process of participating in one of the pools that's listed under the SpiritSwap site. Now, I haven't done this with the Beethoven, and I haven't done it with the Boo, or the, I apologize, I'm forgetting the name, I'm drawing a blank right, the Spooky Island. So I haven't done that with Spooky Island, but I'm doing it for SpiritSwap. The process should be the same with those, or similar, I should say, with those other tokens. All right, well, again, I really appreciate you guys watching. Thanks so much for the feedback as well as the likes. And again, hopefully this has helped you out and it's going to save you some fees along the way. Have a great day, happy staking, and as always, I hope to see you in the next video.